best reporters. It is time for the Jackson Report. Jeffrey Jackson, has been a crazy week in the news once again, but there's a lot of important things that people need to know. So just give us some updates on what's going on in the world of COVID-19, forced vaccinations. What do you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Del. I'd like to pick up on what Michelle was talking about and bring it over to Canada. Canada is currently looking at a bill called Bill 11 out of CBC. The headline reads, "Much anticipated mandatory vaccine debate begins in New Brunswick legislature." This is a bill, it's kind of a reboot from last year's Canadian Bill 39. It's authored by Education Minister Dominic Cardy, and it seeks, it's the same old, same old. It seeks to eliminate religious and philosophical exemptions to school children, barring them, if it does pass, barring them from the fall 2021's session. I read over the reporting. Cardy is trying to frame this as science versus anti-science, but even last year in 2019, the reporting, it was 3 days of sustained testimony at the Capitol there, and when they tried to pass Bill 39, and a lot of all four legislatures in Canada were divided on this bill when they tried to pass it the first time. So what's further, I should say, interesting about this bill is written actually in the bill are attempts to invoke what's called the non-withstanding clause from the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. What this would do is it would shield the bill from any constitutional challenge moving forward. So, I mean, I don't know how someone could vote for this if baked in the cake it says you can't even contest the religious challenge in this bill in courts. It's a fascinating situation. This is kind of like an extra step we're seeing now that we haven't seen in bills here in the U.S.
Wow, very interesting. So Canada needs to really get with it. You guys, I know you're watching the High Wire too, so please share all the information that we're giving you, because I think it fits on this side of the border, the same thing on that side of the border. You have the same insanity. And we know this is happening, Jeffrey, right? We warned that coming out of COVID-19, the pandemic, which really I think you could say we have been predicting something like the pandemic was going to happen for at least the last year, if not the last several years, saying they're going to attempt to have some sort of scary false flag operation, or whatever you want to call it, to make us all so afraid that they will be able to pass these bills that they haven't been getting away with so far. Do you have the same sense that I do, that we could imagine seeing bills like Colorado and happening up in Canada, literally in every state that still needs to remove exemptions so that we can force vaccination? I imagine every state in America is going to light up. I would think every nation around the world is going to light up with these policies. Do you see any way around that?
Well, I do see that happening 100%. I mean, just look what they did with the measles in 2018, end of 2018 and 2019. That ushered in a slew of vaccine legislation that, the veil fell very quickly that it wasn't about measles, because they tried to force all ACIP vaccinations in perpetuity. And what we're seeing with these bills is they're just adding the COVID-19 hook on it and say, yeah, when the vaccine becomes available someday, we got to have this conversation. So let's have it now. Any way around this, I say exactly what Michelle was saying. People need to join this, and they are. Thousands of people everywhere, in every state, every city. Bring your community together. This is the fight of the generation.